Was trying to get your song when you come out on the stage, and we couldn't get it working right on our side. I was calling you, trying to message you. So I apologize. I definitely wanted to greet you with your theme music for sure. Uh, you're muted still, Dianna. So I don't know if folks, we got a great call in store for you today. And again, I want to remind you, if you want to just see Dianna, just hit your speaker view in the top right-hand corner. And if you have any questions, throw them in the chat. Today's going to be less of a Q&A. Dianna's prepared some amazing content. It's going to run for about 75 minutes, about an hour and 15 minutes today. But I know Dianna very well. I love this woman. You will not be disappointed. You'll be blown away with what she shares with you today. And I'll be managing the chat box to be able to answer any questions that you have that may come up. Emily, can you unmute Dianna? Who's also named Tony in the box. So
it says Tony because I'm using his computer.
Great to see you, Dianna. How have you been?
Been doing really good. I've got to tell you, there have been days that I go, really? Is this really happening? How many of you, I mean, Michael, has there ever been a day you got up and went, is this really happening?
Almost every other, it seems like, to be honest with you, Dianna. I mean, it's a pretty regular state here.
Yes, indeed. That's for sure. So go ahead, and if you want me to start, I can start.
Yeah, this is your hour and 15. Again, a lot of times I do Q&A, but I know you prepared some great stuff for us. So I'm going to keep an eye on the chat box. So if someone comes up with a question on your content, I may interrupt you to get the question answered. Otherwise,
okay.
Share with us however you want to share with us during your visit. Thank you for being here.
No, I first of all, I appreciate it, Michael. I got to tell you, I think that through all of this, we can emerge stronger when we really set our minds to do so. And I know you guys are in the pocket of all of it. I mean, you can sit there and say, hey, you're way out there in Texas. What do you know? Well, here's one thing I do know. When all of this started, I was in Israel, right? And people were texting me going, how are you going to get home? And I was with John Maxwell and his wife, Margaret, and I wanted to stay in Israel to take in all of the sites, and they'd already closed all their borders. We were wondering, are we going to get home? And either way, I was going to be great, right? Yet when I got to New York, there were only 3 people in the Delta Lounge. It was like eerie. That the plane was like not even half full. I mean, there were 17 people on a great big plane. And I thought, much different than Texas, what you're going through. So I don't want to even tell you I can relate with you. I can relate because I know how the brain works. I can relate because of knowing the things that we all go through when something happens. Yet I want you to know, I'll never say I know exactly what you're going through, because that would be a lie. I don't. Yet today, I mean, Michael, you're a great leader. And we've talked often about this call. And the question I wrote down just for you, because this is a different call than I've given for other people, and I've been given lots of them, is I wrote down, how do we position ourselves to be the person that we need to be, so as the future unfolds, we can seize the moment and the opportunity that's given to us. To be the person that you need to be, so you can see the things you need to see. And by being that person, then you can do what needs to be done. Did you get that? With me, it's always about being. And as I said, I was in Israel, and I wanted to get back. Lance Locum was the first one that called me and said, Dianna, we need you. And I said, Lance, I'm in Israel. You know, I can't really do a Zoom right here, yet I will when I get home. See, it's been said that as a human being, we can actually go and live 40 days without food. We can live up to 3 days without water, 3 minutes without air, and not 1 second without hope. Really want you to hear that, because as leaders, we are dealers in hope. Are you giving your clients and the people around you hope? Hope for everyone. That should be our battle cry. See, when you get off a Zoom call with a leader, a true leader, you feel like you can conquer anything. They instill confidence in you, and that energy of confidence is one of the best energies that we can have. And I want you to know that I see you as the hero to your own life. Your journey is your journey. And right now, you've been given a detour, right? I mean, have you ever driven down an old country road and, you know, the dirt's coming on the windshield and you keep using your windshield washer to get that dirt off so you can see clear. And yet as the dirt comes on, you go slower and slower because you can't see what's ahead. Well, that's kind of where we're at right now. Today, I want to take away and clean the windshield so you can see better and see further and be able to go faster. See, I want more for you than I would ever want from you. Did you get that? As your friend, I, Dianna, want more for you than I ever want from you. And I want to not be the best in the world. I want to be the best for the world. See, don't be the best in real estate. Be the best for your client. And I just so appreciate the opportunity today to be able to be with you and share my perspective on putting a big old X, just a big old X through anxiety, right? And this morning, Tony got up and he was getting ready to go fishing. And it was so fun because he says, what day is it? Was church yesterday? Did we Zoom? And Michael, it was so funny because it seems like, I don't know what day it is sometimes. It's like this day, that day, yesterday, the other day, and there's tomorrow, obviously. Yeah, it's kind of like Groundhog Day, right? Now, let's go back to that movie. If you haven't seen it, you may want to watch it. It really signifies what we're going through today. Because in Groundhog Day, what happens is every day he wakes up, you know this. And what happens, Michael? What happens in Groundhog Day?
The same day repeats over and over again. Every time he wakes up, the same exact day.
Now, here's the interesting part. He reflects. During this movie, every day he gets better. Every day he is growing in some way. He learns how to play the piano. He learns how to sing. He learns how to do all sorts of things. And he gets to know people and he builds relationships with people in a way that he never had done before. So write this down. Don't count the days. Don't count the days. Make the days count. Did you hear that? Don't count the days. Just make the days count. And every single day, we are one step closer for this thing to be over. That's the way I look at it. Just normal isn't normal now. So much of it is new. And today may not look like yesterday, and yet we can still move forward. Now, how do we move forward? We move forward with new habits, because you either are developing habits that are taking you up or habits that are taking you one or the other. You're developing new patterns, new opportunities. And I want you to think about new opportunities in spiritual, emotional, and your physical life. See, normal may have paused, yet we don't have to pause. Normal may have paused. You don't have to pause. See, we don't have the luxury to pause, to put it bluntly, because growth, you're either growing or you're stagnant, and stagnant water stinks. Got that?
That makes sense.
Yeah, growth is the only guarantee that you have that tomorrow is going to be better than today.
And I've always heard, Diane, I've heard you say it in the past, and people like Brian say it in the past, it's very hard to stay flat. You're either growing or you're going downwards. There's no just level. You got to be heading in a direction.
That's exactly right, Michael. You're either going up or going down, one or the other, right? And we're going through a storm right now. And the greatest part is we're in this storm together. And I just want to say thank you to all the people out there that have given blood, Thank you to the people that have been tutoring kids, that have been doing the ding dong ditching. My grandkids and I have been doing that, right? You leave the care package on the door, ring the doorbell, and run like heck to get back to the car before they get there, right? Maybe some of you are giving meals to the workers in the hospitals. Whatever you're doing, that hand that is open to give is open to receive. It's an abundant hand that we need in the world today, not a scarcity. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, right? I know I've been making calls every day, 5-6 hours, and I know you have too, Michael. As leaders, we're on Zoom calls, we're speaking hope into people. And I mean, I've led prayer groups where some of our great clients, they have parents or they have a family member right in their own home that they're in the hospital in ICU with this COVID-19. And I just want you to know that as I share my perspective today, there may be some things that you want to borrow from my perspective in times like this. My perspective is all I can teach. That's what I did in Bold, that's what I did at Keller Williams, and that's what I'm going to do today. My perspective is that we're all aware of what this coronavirus is doing to our physical bodies, yet I think we're completely underestimating what this pandemic is doing to our souls and to our emotions, to our clients' souls, to our clients' emotions. And there's a large emotional and a psychological toll that's happening on people's insides, how it's affecting their minds and the way that we think about things. And we all want to be healthy. So we remember that being healthy isn't just about what you eat. It's not about the exercise you do. It's mainly about what and how you're thinking. See, why do our beliefs have such an effect on our lives? And why do limiting beliefs keep us from our goals? And how do we reject those limiting beliefs? You know, Jim Quick said, if an egg is broken by an outside force, life ends. Yet if an egg is broken by an inside force, life begins. So whatever we have to give has to come from within, because we can't give what we don't have. Great things always begin from the inside. Now, Mark Twain said, it ain't what you don't know that gets you into trouble, it's what you know for sure that just ain't so, right? So during these times, I want to grow like you do. And I've reached out to thought leaders, people that think at a very high level. And this is what I was talking with Michael about, is that because growth is so important in these times. Growth on the inside, in my mind, not outwardly, like some people are growing, like you're going to the fridge every 10 minutes, right? They say that, what is it? Breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and dinner like a pauper. The problem is most people are saying, long live the king, right? We just want to eat and eat and eat. And we go on these binges, whether it's watching Netflix all night long, or because we don't have to get up that early in the morning, or we're eating, or we're drinking, turning to other things, right? Well, it's all emotional. But on the phone with John Maxwell and 5 other people last Friday, I talked to him again yesterday. And if you watched his thing today at 11, I mean, we talked about last week on what do you put behind you and what do you put in front of you? Because as you've heard me say many times, what you focus on expands, right? So put behind you your losses and put in front of you your lessons. Put behind you your reactions and put before you your reflections. See, crisis causes reaction, and reaction is emotional, and reflection, well, that's logical. Now, last Sunday, Tony and I were watching the Disney Channel. We'll probably be watching it tonight again with it. May the 4th be with you. You probably heard that many times today. And with Star Wars, being fans, will be on. Yet last week, they had the thing about the Disney movies and the different songs, and they had this one from Jungle Book where the boy was on top of the elephant. Maybe you saw it. And when I saw that, I thought, oh my gosh, that's what people are going through right now. See, the boy is on top of the elephant and he's steering that elephant. You've seen it.
Yep.
Well, the boy is the emotion and the elephant or excuse me, the boy is the logic and the elephant is the emotion. That boy, that logic, can control the emotion, the elephant, for just so long, and then all of a sudden the emotion's going to have its way, right? That elephant is going to go whichever way it wants to go. So knowing this, I reached out to Dr. Henry Cloud, who's a clinical psychologist and a friend, and Deborah, who's also a friend of mine, who's a neuroscientist. And if time permits, I'll share a lot of the stuff that they shared with me. Yet they helped me put a basis to what I want to talk to you about today. And Susan Scott, who's a very good friend of mine, I've spent time in her treehouse with her, which is quite an experience. We were on the phone the other day and she said, you know what, Dianna, it's about time that this world got a swift kick in the butt. And I thought, that's what's happening. That kick is causing all these shifts that are taking place, right? Well, Gary Keller told us to dust off the shift book. And I want to talk to you about a shift that a lot of salespeople, they just don't make. And yet if they did, they would be more well-known, they'd have more results, and they would experience more money. Now, I know money is not what it's all about, yet you can't give what you don't have. And you need money to take care of your family, see? What I'm talking about is shifting from making sales to making a contribution. Because interesting enough, when you do this, the sales, they show up. It's all because of the energy shift that occurs from going from selfishness to selflessness, from success to significance. Because see, success is all about me and significance is all about everybody else. The value of our lives is not determined by what we do for ourselves. The value, I mean, the true value of our lives is really determined by what we do for others. I like to say, don't complain, contribute. See, all of us have a dream and a vision, and Michael, you know this, because our dream and our vision, well, you don't really take it on. You don't buy into it until you really write down what contribution that dream and that vision can give to other people. In my life, the things I did to contribute to others, whether it was writing bold or doing this Zoom call, I get as much out of this as anybody does, probably even more. I mean, I know that this is an honor and a privilege. And when Lance called me and I said, certainly, and I got on with his salespeople, he has about 70, and they shared with me their scripts. And the script was really good. It started out with, you know, how may we help you? And they have a group, the Locan group has their own nonprofit. And then they went into real estate and then they ended the call. Well, that day, that moment, see, energy shifts can happen that fast. And I said, oh my gosh, here's what I want you to know. I want you, and this is my new term, right? You can quote me. Dianna Kokoszka said, do the contribution sandwich. You contribute at first, you talk about real estate, and you contribute at the end. Now, here's something. I'm not going to give you the exact words. It's going to be something like this, right? You always thank them for taking your call. And then you say, during these times, I'm just reaching out to all the clients I've truly enjoyed working with. And I just want to ask you, is there anything I can do for you? I mean, anything I can help with? Can we do a Zoom call with the family? Anything I can help the kids with? Because I know that school is getting a little crazy for some teachers, right? Then you say, here's something I want you to know. With real estate being much like oil, I mean, we help the economy. And so I want you to know that the economy is going to be okay because we're still selling houses. And no, we're not selling as many yet. There's still people out there that need my help. And so if you have any friends, if you have any relatives that are in the predicament that some of the people that I'm working with are in, I want to contribute to their lives and help them find that home or sell their home. So do you have a pen or pencil? And have them pick up a pen or pencil and take down your number and remind them to call you. Don't just tell them to call me. Take my number down and have them call me, please, because I'll be here to help them. Now, I want you to know that when I call people, they always tell me no, just like you did at first, that I couldn't help you with anything. Yet by the time it's all over, they've thought of something. So I'm going to ask you once again, how may I contribute to your life? Is everything going okay? And they'll probably still say they don't need anything. and you thank them, tell them that you're there for them, and you're off the phone. Now, some people don't believe this is going to bring them business yet. I call it future marketing. See, there was a gal that came to me and she said, Dianna, she's a friend of mine. She says, have you noticed in the grocery stores, people are actually saying thank you to more people, and they're thanking them for the service that they're giving? And I said, yeah, I think it's awesome. I love the energy of gratitude. And she said, well, what could we do for them? I said, well, what if you put together a website and you had people buy cookies? Because she wanted to get her name out and she wanted to help people at the same time. And there's nothing wrong with that. She's still helping people. So she put together a website and she asked people to donate to buy a cookie for all the workers at HEB, which is a local grocery store here. Little did she know, number one, she called her clients. The clients called other people. She was able to put in the grocery store that you could contribute money there. She sold 390 cookies in no time at all, in less than a week. Now, what was the common denominator? They all saw her name. They all knew she was over it. What are you doing to help people? See, get excited about what other people want and need. Ask for their opinion. Another call you could do is just to check in on them and say, you know, I so enjoyed working with you, and I know I can get better. And during this time, I have time to reflect. And so I'm going to ask you for your opinion. Could you help me out and just give me your opinion on things that you think maybe I could even do better? And then if they say something, don't go on the defense. Take it down and thank them. Now, many of you know John Maxwell's been a mentor of mine for over 20 years now, and a great personal friend. And so the other day, I love that he does what he tells people. His audio matches his video. He tells somebody to do something and he actually lives that, right? So I know that that's what your leaders do as well. And the other day he sent me this, and I'm going to show you. I mean, this is his manuscript, right? The manuscript from his new book that's coming out. It just went to the publisher just yesterday or today. I don't know. Anyway, celebrating today because it just went to the publisher. Yet he asked some of us our opinion. And I read the first statement in this book, and of course, buy the book when it comes out. Yet here's what he says. Hope has two beautiful daughters. Their names are Anger and Courage. Anger at the way things are, and courage to see that they do not remain as they are. You have hope. Do you give hope to other people? Are you calling to give hope to people? See, I know at one point you were going towards your goal. You were having great success, and every moment was just working for you, and all of a sudden, just that fast, it seemed to change. And you're in lockdown, and this world feels suspended, and it's difficult to even figure out where you're at in all of this. I mean, especially knowing that you didn't personally cause it. You didn't ask for this. You didn't say, hey, I choose this. You didn't choose the circumstances. The circumstances chose you. And as much as we desire to control everything in our life, we can't control it. See, you can become bitter or you can become better. It's your choice. Because it's not the load that weighs you down. It's the way that you carry that load that weighs you down. Now, here's some things that, well, when it comes to control, I want you to make a list. And I trust that you guys will take me up on this because it'll be a great exercise for you. I want you to make a list of all the things that you can't control. Now, when I made my list, it had things on it like, I can't control that I can't go to the Jimmy Buffett concert. Yeah, I bought tickets, front row tickets for my entire family. All 8 of us were going there. It was going to be so much fun. We had so much planned. Can't control it. I can't control when I can get my hair cut again, for heaven's sakes. Government's going to tell me that. I can't control a lot of things, yet I can control my attitude. And so I want you to make this list, this big old long list of all the things that you cannot control. And then I want you to set your phone, your timer for 10 minutes. And for 10 minutes, I just want you to worry yourself silly. Just bitch, complain, moan about all those things. Fret, think negative, Stomp your feet if you need to. All those things that you can't control. And then when your time is up, the buzzer goes off, you rip up the paper or you burn it. See, I'd tell you to write it on toilet paper, only with the way that toilet paper is being hoarded right now. If you just wrote it on toilet paper and flushed it down the toilet, you'd probably have everybody being upset at me for telling you to do that. Just do it on paper. It'll work. It'll work. Yeah. See?
Love that.
Get involved. Mike, let's get them involved in what we can control. See, you can control your attitude. You can control how many calls you make every day. I've had so many emails and texts regarding work pressures, relationship issues, gosh, parenting, financial worries, fears for the future. And the interesting part, fears not only for their own sake, fears for their team's sake. I mean, stress leaves us feeling tired, wound up, and really low in energy. And I say working hard for something that you don't care about, well, that's called stress. And yet working hard for something that you love, well, that's called passion. So love the people and use the things. Don't use people and love things, right? See, Einstein, who was another one of my mentors, and no, I wasn't old enough to know him, yet I've read a lot of books about him. And the one thing I loved was he said, in the midst of adversity, in the midst of crisis, we can find opportunity. And problems, I mean, think about that. If you don't have problems, how do you get a solution? Medicine. If we didn't have problems, the medical field wouldn't even exist. It's all about the power of perspective. And as we continue to assess and reflect on all this new reality as we know it, let's look at things. See, people have gone before us. There's always been good things that have come out of bad things if you have the right perspective. Back in the 1980s, I was selling real estate. Some of you probably weren't even born at that time. And we couldn't put signs up on the property because I could literally show 10 homes and not even leave one block, right? Everything was, it was so bad. And they had these things called HUD homes. They were government-owned homes, and there were so many of them, and there was one key per office. And the lockbox was held by the government with that one key. It was a governmental key. And I thought, this is not right. The realtors have got to get together. I ended up going clear to Washington, D.C. to say, we deserve to hold HUD homes open. Well, they finally allowed us to hold them open. They finally allowed us to really sell them in a way to have our own lockboxes on them that everybody could use, right? What are you doing in this crisis? What are you doing to help our industry, to help other people? So write this down. How we view things is how we do things. See, people were complaining all the time. Yet you guys have been through this before. You guys, I mean, 9/11 affected you more than anything, and you were the ones that allowed us. You led the way. You were the lifters of the lid for all of us across the nation. You were the ones that gave us faith over fear. And right now, boy, more than ever, we got to have faith and give it to others. And I just want you to liken your life to stock. See, you've seen the stock chart. Heck, for heaven's sakes, you're there, right there at the stock market, right? Stocks go up and stocks go down. And they take a dip. And that's what we're in. We're just in a dip. Our life is a stock chart. And one thing that I know, and I only talk about my belief, Michael, is I believe in a God. And this God made me and he made you, and God doesn't make junk. So that makes us a blue chip stock. See, I invested in Apple, and Apple's gone up and Apple's gone down, and it's a great brand. Disney's gone up and Disney's gone down, and it's a great brand. And you're a great brand. Heck, Michael, you're a brand for a brand, right? A great brand, right?
Can't make that up, can we?
So, hey, let me ask you, Michael, does spring follow winter?
Every year.
Every year. Does spring care that it was a bad winter?
I don't think it does.
No. Does spring care if it was a light winter?
Spring does what they want to do regardless of what happens winter.
See, that's the thing. Spring always follows winter. Doesn't care if it was a bad winter, a light winter, if snow was clear up 5 feet high, like you guys have had before, right? Spring always follows winter. We just have to hang in there. Only we got to hang in there doing all that we can do. See, I have this plant, and I don't have a green thumb, and a lot of people were laughing, and they were saying, oh, Diana, just throw the plant away, right? Now, when somebody tells me I can't do something, Michael, I know you're the same way. You want to do it, right? You're going to show them. Well, let me show you, I said. And so I took this plant and I put some fertilizer. Now, what is fertilizer? It's made up of crap. and I put the fertilizer on it and I watered it and I talked good to it. And pretty soon it started growing again. It grew so well, I had to take it out of that pot and replant it. So see, right now we're just growing. And some of us have more fertilizer on us than other people, yet we're growing. And we got to grow during this time because see, when we grow where we're planted, pretty soon we're going to have opportunities to go into a bigger pot and be planted in a bigger arena. Because see, growth is the only guarantee that we have that tomorrow's going to be better than today. And if you agree with me, this fast-paced world, and yes, people still want it yesterday, we're in a constant change. And yet, I want you to hear this really well. Change is something when you rearrange your furniture. We are not in change, ladies and gentlemen. We are in transformation. Transformation is like that movie Big, where he woke up one day and he wasn't 12 years old anymore. He was a grown man. And he wanted to go back. And eventually he went back to where he was 13 years old because he had had a birthday. That was a transition. Rip Van Winkle is a transition. You wake up one morning and 20 years later, nothing was the same. And yet everybody in Big, Tom Hanks had to adopt to a new coping mechanism. Rip Van Winkle had to adopt to a new coping mechanism. And that's what we're doing today. We're adopting to a new coping mechanism. And you're responding to conditions that are surrounding all of us and that are different than we've ever known them before. And we all have moments of fear and anxiety. And I just want you to know that from my perspective, it's all right to desire things to be different. If the challenge we face doesn't scare us, then I have to ask you, it's probably not that important to us. Did you hear that? Because if you have a dream that doesn't challenge you, that doesn't scare you a little bit, then it's probably not that important that you achieve that dream. See, it's important to acknowledge what we don't want, because that's how we get clarity on what we do want. Now, I know one thing about all you realtors. You're going to agree with me that when you show people a home, they say, I like this and I don't like that. And we actually learn more from what they don't like than what they do like. You know, if I took you into a home, and where I'm from, a bi-level is where you walk in and there's stairs that go up and stairs that go down, right? And it just has a landing right there as you enter into it. Well, if you say, I don't like this, I want to walk in and just see the entire home. Am I going to show you another bi-level? No. See, isn't it from the contrast that you find the perfect home for them? And when they think they have the perfect home, here's what's so much fun about real estate. It's not 2 weeks that they're in that home that they're not saying, wow, I wish I had a plug there. Why did they put this kind of countertop on? Or this drawer isn't big enough for my stuff. Or I don't have enough cupboard space. They're already finding what they don't like about that house. So why should our life be any different? See, it is in the contrast where clarity is born. And that's how we find out what things we like, what things we truly desire. So the question is, do you know what you truly desire? Do you know what your heart really does want? So let me ask you, if you find perfection through contrast, then what is it about this world that's getting to you that you don't want that has allowed you to become crystal clear and create what you do want? If you stand where you are now and expect everything to be as you wish it to be, then how are you creating anything at all? If you're always being where you want to be, then how can you become something more? See, I believe that today, many people are forgetting that you're in the process of always becoming. And who you are being is one thing, and who you're becoming is another. And as humans, which I hate to inform you, you're all human, right? And as humans, you're never done until the end of your life, or as at least your life as we know it. I believe in a life hereafter. Yet, we're all a work in progress while we're here. And the great part about being human is you can put new things inside of you. You know, I was brushing my teeth, which I do every day. I hope you do. In fact, I always say, just brush the teeth you want to keep, right? And is it squeezed or squoze, the toothpaste thing? I'm not that great in English.
I think it's squeezed or squeezed. I go with squeezed.
I squeezed the toothpaste and I got too much out. Here's what I realized right then and there. I can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. Won't let me. I can put new things inside of me, and you can put new things inside of you. You can help yourself and you can help others. And you only do that by putting new things inside of us. See, if I had an orange and I had the orange and I squeezed it, what would I get out, Michael?
Orange juice.
Yeah, and if I squeezed a lemon, what would I get out?
Lemon juice.
Well, and if I squeeze you, what would I get out? See, what we have inside of us is what's going to come out. And right now we're all being squeezed really tight, right? There was a gentleman, and I forget his name. I love to give credit when people give me ideas and tell me things. Plucher, I think is how he said it, was what we achieve inwardly will change our outer reality. In essence, what he's saying is the people who change their own world influence others to think, speak, and act in such a way that it makes a positive difference in their life and the lives of others. Now, Bill Austin said, we can't change everything, yet we can change something. See, the process of your life begins and ends with you. It's your journey. And instinctively, you know, without me even saying, this process goes best when it's an inward path. Frankly, first and foremost, there are shifts that we have to make. I talked about that at the beginning. I did a Zoom call the other day for a market center that Tony and I are investors in, and I talked to them about the 5 energies, the 5 energies of success. And these 5 energies are so important because, see, everything is energy. I learned in quantum physics. In fact, my whole world changed when I took quantum physics. I learned that the world is full of energetic strings of energy, strings all around us. And as you take a walk down the road, they're all around you. You just can't see them with your naked eye. See, there's radio waves. They're called frequencies, which is energy. There's cell phone waves, which is frequency, called energy. Now, Michael, if someone called me, which is on vibrate right now yet, if you called my number, could you answer it if somebody called me right now? Could you answer my phone?
Not that I know of. Nope.
No, you could not answer my phone. You're right. Why? Because, see, my cell phone number has an energetic frequency. And it's only going to attract to it energy that has that same frequency. You're only going to attract to you the energy you send out. Because like energy attracts like energy, and energy can shift that fast. So what are these 5 energetic things that you need to have? And of course, here's the interesting part. We spent an hour on one of them, another 45 minutes on the second. We haven't even gotten to the other 3. Yet the energy of confidence, of optimism, of purpose, of presence, of appreciation. And we need to make a shift in our energy. Now, there is one thing that I will share with you. It's not from me. It's from Sandra Taylor, who is a lady that I know, who's also took a lot of quantum physics, and I love to talk to physicists a lot. And she has something that I have up on my wall, and I'm more than happy to share it with you if you want to email me at DK at Bold Dianna, Dianna with 2 N's. And Michael, you can give that to them.
I'll put it in the chat.
It's 10 questions that we ask ourselves that we rate on a scale from 1 to 10. And when you're below a 7, and most people are below, just so you know, if you have a low score, don't think anything of it. If you're below a 7 on any of those 10, you choose the ones that you're below 7 on. You take one of them and you write affirmations around it. And you say those affirmations, and they're going to help you with all of those energies. And see, these 10 questions, all of them, there's 2 questions on each one of these energies, and they're mixed up a little bit, and yet it's going to help you tremendously. I know it will. So we're going to make a shift in our energy. The second shift that we're going to make is the way that you think about what you do. See, some agents say, I'm going to sell 100 homes this year. Other agents say, I'm going to help 100 families establish a home this year. So when you shift the way you think and the way you talk about what you do, and you shift it like it's coming from contribution, all of a sudden, like energy attracts like energy. You contribute to others, they want to contribute back. It's called the law of reciprocity. You know, it happens when you go into the stores like Costco or different places. They give you something, and all of a sudden you have this reaction like, oh, maybe I should buy it if I take it. Some people won't even take it because they're afraid to say, I don't want to buy it. Even though the person doesn't care if you buy it or not, they're being paid to just give it to you. They know the law of reciprocity. Those companies give knowing that they're going to receive so much back. Now, the third shift is the way that you think about your customers and your prospects. See, buyers are not liars. We just haven't asked them enough questions. We haven't gotten enough contrast in their life for them to be clear about what they want, because contrast brings clarity. And frankly, now here's something I want you to know and realize. You cannot make a mistake because you're never done in your growth. But I guess you could make a mistake if you didn't learn from it. Yet, because you're never done, there's always going to be contrast in your life. Like a roller coaster that goes up and it goes down. I don't know how you ride a roller coaster. I ride it in the front car or the back car. And I like putting my hands up and going, whee, you know, all the way. And there's people on that roller coaster. I look at them and man, they're gripping hold and they're hanging on tight and they're like, oh my gosh, and they have their eyes closed. How are you riding this roller coaster right now? Are you grabbing on for dear life? Or do you have your hands up in the air going, whee, I'm going to create something? See, the tide comes in and the tide goes out. That's how our world turns. If the tide is always coming in, we'd have a tsunami, for heaven's sakes. Come on. The universe is always moving, and that means we've got to move too. You either allow yourself to spiral down, where this quarantine has you feeling like you're all locked up in a hotel room and you got to put the do not disturb sign on, for heaven's sakes, or you're going to decide to rise up and keep climbing, knowing everything that is worthwhile is uphill. You remember when John Maxwell, I brought him in to talk to us at Mega Camp, and he said, everything worthwhile is uphill. Every goal worthwhile is uphill. The problem is you got uphill goals with downhill heights, right? What habits are you creating? We're in a moment where we all need to be lifted up, comforted, and we get to do that for our clients. So during this time, don't forget to honor yourself, forgive yourself, and just love yourself just a little bit more, okay? Because I'm your friend and I love you. I really do. I love our profession. And the key to me, the real key to being happy is to realize that you're always a work in progress. You're always becoming. And when you look back from where you are today, if 20 years from now, you're going to look back and you're not going to be the same person. Heck, if you look back 3 years, you're not the same person that you were 3 years ago, because you're always becoming. Now, I'm going to ask you today to accept that the contrast never ends. It never ends. Rather than working to be in a perfect place, just let yourself be in the process. Always working to get the bugs out of your life, always working to become better, and always allowing yourself to be that work in progress. and growing, because after all, growth is the only guarantee that tomorrow is going to get better than it is today. See, a crisis is a distraction. And as I wrote this content for you, I thought about the distraction that's happening. And you take that word distraction, and right there, plain as day, is the word traction. Distraction takes you backward, and traction, boy, that takes you forward. Are you focusing on the distraction? Are you watching the daily news? I mean, heck, I think you can watch the news like every 3 days and you'll be fine, because they say the same things over and over and over again. See, distraction or traction, where's your focus? Focus on the progress that you're making in your scripts and dialogues. Focus on the progress that you're making to improve your skills. Make the best of what it looks like for whatever reason. Decide to feel good and focus on becoming, and stop demanding to be a certain way. See, instead of writing out a to-do list, why don't we write out a to-be list? Write down who you choose to become, and then get up every day and work towards that. See, a long time ago, I listened to John Maxwell talk about values, and I came back home and I said, you know what are my values? And I wrote down my values, and I wrote out the definition for each of those values. What values do I show at work? What values do I show as a person? And then I wrote down when I'd actually used those values. And then here was the big reflection and the growth. When was a time that I could have used those values that I didn't use those values? See, our values are never going to change through all of this. Our perspective could, yet our values will never change. So focus on your values. Focus on becoming the person that you wrote down that you choose to become. Because too many people want to be in the perfect place, to be where they desire to be. And they've just forgotten about becoming all they can become. Now, I had this great leader. And Michael, will you play along with me for just a moment, please?
Of course, definitely.
Okay, I want to role play with you for just a moment.
I'm nervous now. I was getting nervous when you said that, Diana.
Okay, here's the greatest part. I love to put people on the spot, yet it's not going to hurt. You're not going to say anything wrong. You're becoming all you can be, right? So I'm going to have you in just a moment close your eyes. And then I'm going to ask you, Michael, when I say open your eyes, I want you just to spot 5 things. How many things?
5.
5. And all I want you to say, don't go into any detail. This is bottom line stuff. And I know you're very good at bottom line because you're a great leader. If I closed my eyes right now and I opened them up, I would say, I'm thankful for my computer. I'm thankful for my water. I'm thankful for my calendar. I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for my books. Those were 5 things. Did you hear how I did that?
Yep.
Okay, so close your eyes. Okay, now open them up and give 5 things.
I'm thankful for my wife. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for all of my team members that are here on the call. I'm thankful for you, Diana, especially. And of course, I'm always thankful for Gary Keller in our world.
Okay, excellent. So, Michael, what does your family mean to you?
My family's my anchor. You know, my anchor, my core. It's my big why I do what I do.
Okay, and what does your wife mean to you?
She's the world. She keeps me grounded. She keeps me focused, keeps me on track, you know, and gives love and support to everyone in our lives.
So does your wife mean the same thing to me or to Tony?
Probably not.
Yeah. So who gave your wife the meaning that you just gave to me?
I guess that would be me.
You did, right. And so what do I mean to you?
You just bless us with brilliance, and I'm watching the chat box, seeing everyone saying, I needed this today. We love this. They're posting their ahas. What you mean to me is the impact you make on the people you touch. And it's an amazing.
Well, thank you, because that's my purpose, is to add value and to make a positive difference in people's lives. So thank you. Yet there are people out there that don't like me, Michael. There are some people that don't like me. I don't mean the same thing to them. So who gave me the meaning that you just said?
Me, I gave you that meaning.
Okay, so here's what I'm getting at. Everybody that's listening, listen carefully. You give it the meaning. You give this pandemic the meaning. You give it the meaning of what this Zoom call means. You give it the meaning to what you're going to do in your life. You give the meaning as to whether you're going to grow or not. You give the meaning. Because see, every one of us, we go through emotional states in our life. We go through shock. That's the first one. I don't know about you, I was shocked. And I've been shocked over and over again with things that are happening. Then we go into a struggle. We're in the 7th week of a struggle, for heaven's sakes. Come on. It's a struggle. Now here's the part I want you to hear. Because during this struggle that you give meaning to, you give meaning to whether you're going to create and grow and get better and get on the call with like-minded people, because like energy attracts like energy. You get on with thought leaders and you spend as much time with them as you can, or you start turning to things. And I really want you to hear this, because during this struggle, knowing how the brain works, this is absolutely the truth. Dr. Henry Cloud and I talked about it. He's a clinical psychologist. He's studied this stuff for a long time. You're going to turn to something. You're going to turn to food. You're going to turn to alcohol. You're going to turn to medication or drugs. You're going to turn to eating. Some people turn to exercise, right? I mean, it can be good or bad what you turn to. When you start turning to bad things, what happens in the brain is you start making a validation for yourself. I deserve this dream. I deserve this. I deserve to sit and watch Netflix for Netflix. My son always teases me about how I say that. I used to say Netflix, and he goes, I used to laugh at you, Mom, inwardly, right? You're going to give validation to yourself. And if the validation isn't on something good, you're going to go into, and this is what frightens me, a learned helplessness. A learned helplessness is when you have fear. And what happens in the brain, see, fear has a low road and there's a high road of fear. And they're happening in our brain simultaneously, right? Going right along together, right there. That fast, it's all happening. And I want to explain this to you because it really does havoc on our body when you have fear. And the best way to explain it is like if a screen door was banging against the frame of a house, right? Now, I know a lot of houses don't have screen doors on them today, yet if you had one, and it was pounding. The low grade fear, which happens automatically, you cannot stop it from happening, says, oh, what if a burglar's coming in? And instantly, that thought goes to your thalamus, which then goes into your amygdala, which then starts shutting things down in the body. Now, it happens all very quickly. See, it shuts down your digestive system. It shuts down your immune system. I want you to hear that part. Your immune system is shut down by fear. Your smooth muscles, they don't work as well because, see, all these things have to be shut down in case you have to run. And those muscles that help you run, oh man, they're getting tight. Now, your heart pounds faster. Your blood vessels constrict. I mean, all these things start happening. And that amygdala, which nothing happens until the amygdala lights up, is so full of emotion. And your body goes through all of this. Now, at the same time, the high road is traveling along this high level of fear. And it goes, wait, I think I've heard this before. And you look outside and the wind is blowing like it is here. And you go, oh, well, maybe it's the wind. Or maybe there was an Amazon package delivered and they just, let the screen hit. I mean, it starts thinking about all the things that it could be. And of course, it calms you down and you go, oh yeah, it was just the wind. Now, the reason I told you that story is that a lot of people are in the low level of fear. And the high level hasn't taken over, because the high level is about logic. The high level is about, we're going to get through this. The high level is all those things that I talked to you about, who you're becoming. It's about growing. It's about becoming creative. It's about being in small groups with people that are like-minded. And oh, by the way, the small things done consistently can create a high quality of life. Just remember, small things done consistently, right? When that kind of fear, though, sticks around and they get into learned helplessness, then what happens is that their immune system shuts down. So if your immune system shuts down, how easy could you contact this virus?
Probably pretty easy.
Yeah. That's why focus and courage go hand in hand. Focus on your goals. Focus on the habits that you're developing. Focus on the courage to stick to your priorities. Great things are brought about by a series of small things when they're brought together. And small things, as I said, done consistently, well, they create a high quality of life. See, I said it before, I'll say it again. Everything changed for me when I was introduced to quantum physics. The principles of energy and our consciousness, I mean, they opened up my eyes to a world of possibilities that I'd never been aware of before. I learned and saw where great shifts of energy occur in a single moment. And right there in the physics lab, I got to see where a particle is made up of, under this high-powered microscope, made up of 99.99999% energy and 0.00001% particle. And today, what I share with you, this content, it's different than what I wrote in bold, because I wrote it especially for you during these times. See, every person that chooses to listen to me will find that our world is made up of these patterns, that our world is made up of these amazing energetic strings that can give you the results that you choose and create a high quality of life for you, because you have high energy. And our market center, they have a Zoom every morning, and every morning Anita, who is so great, she plays a power up. And the other morning, what kind of got me started for this call for you was she played the one where I had 4 quadrants. By the way, I did over 3,200 of those power ups. I mean, my goodness, it was like, what am I going to talk about today? And so this one that we watched, Michael and all of you, it was like, it had 4 quadrants, and I'd put them up on the board. And in the one quadrant, it had high positive energy, and then low positive energy, and low negative energy, and high negative energy. And see, every second of every day, every moment, you are deciding what energy you want to be in. Are you going to be in the high positive energy or the low positive energy? Or are you going to be in the low negative energy or the high negative energy? See, you get to decide which one, and it's a choice. In fact, you might want to write this down. And oh my goodness, I've got to look up who said it. It was a French philosopher, I know that much. And he said, life is lived between B and D. So when you say the alphabet, what comes between B and D? C, right? So see, C stands for choice. You choose your energy. And that choice, every choice that you make, lies between your birth and your death, B and C.
By the way, that was John Paul Sartre, so I know that would drive you crazy if you didn't get the name.
I'm so glad that you said that. Let me write that down so I have it.
I'll put it in the chat box. Jean-Paul Sartre, the French philosopher, wrote that.
Jean-Paul
Sartre, S-A-R-T-R-E. I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong.
T-R-E, Sartre. Thank you. In fact, my son's name is Sean Paul, so I'll remember that. John Paul. So, sounds like a pope. Anyway, that for those of you who are old enough to know that, right? So how do you manage this personal energy? See, that's the key to creating a high quality life. That's the key, because frankly, don't you deserve great success? Now, we're all having experiences that are different. I know that. We let's face it, we're all unable to do things that we want to do. We're all going through this together. And some people are going to come out on top with so much opportunity, and other people, they're going to get out of the business. See? When things aren't unfolding the way you want them to be, the question I always ask myself is, what are you going to do about it? Acknowledge the things that still are in alignment with who you are. Acknowledge the energy that's still in alignment with who you choose to be. Align with the surroundings that you choose to have. Because see, your environment's going to be 80% of your success. And right now, today, with the way your brain works, have a routine. I don't care what the routine is. Have a routine. Make certain you get up at the same time every day. Have a routine. Now, if you want to sleep in on the weekends and that, whatever. Yet have a routine, because it's that routine that is going to keep your brain alive. They are stating that everybody's IQ is going to go down by 30 or more points because of what they're doing inside their homes. I'll be darned. Mine's not going down. Mine's going up. I made that decision the minute I read that. And so I talked to Dr. Henry Cloud and Patrick Lencioni and all these folks. And I said, what do we do? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got to learn. We got to take this time to learn, reach out to our people, do everything that we can to keep a routine. Make those 20 calls a day. Make certain that you have a routine that you are going to follow, so at least your IQ doesn't go down. Now, here's another thing about that learned helplessness. Learned helplessness causes a lot of stress. Stress, I know, because my son Shane is a holistic doctor. In fact, he's been doing a lot of Zoom calls for a lot of the market centers on this thing called COVID-19 and things that we can do holistically to help ourselves. And we talked about stress. Stress actually releases cortisol into your body. You can look it up. It's right there on the web, right? And that cortisol, well, too much cortisol is the number one reason that people start getting Alzheimer's. So the emotional health.
Dianna, can you repeat that? Because your mic's breaking out a little bit. The number one reason that people do what?
Cortisol. Stress produces cortisol. And cortisol, too much cortisol goes right to your brain. Right. And it's the number one thing that starts Alzheimer's.
Gotcha.
So if you allow this stress to continue in your life, like, oh my gosh, it's doom and gloom. Oh my gosh, it's never going to be the same. You know what? This year for me is different than my year last year. I mean, is yours the same as it was last year? No. But let me ask you, a year ago, if you went back a year ago and wrote down what you were and what you were doing, is it the same thing that you were doing 5 years before?
Nope.
No. So what's the difference? What's the old saying from Blind Side? Don't get your panties in a wad. You know, get over it. Take a chill pill. We're all, spring follows winter.
Yeah.
Opportunity. Focus on that. Focus on the art of allowing things to be how they are. Focus on making conditional alignment. Now, what do I mean by conditional alignment? This I didn't even think about it. It just started coming to me as I'm looking at you, Michael, and I love your smile. It really, that's great energy. See, you make yourself so weary sometimes about wanting everything to exactly. So this thing that conditional alignment is, you're going to line up everything that you can. You're gonna line up all the things that you can control, your attitude, how many calls you make, the growth. Did you write out a growth plan for this time? Because life is always a work in progress. You know, just know how magnificent you are, and write out the things that only you have. See, have humility during this time, and humility. I love that statement, that humility is not thinking less of yourself. Humility is thinking of yourself less. and know that everything that we have in life is a gift that was given to us, right? And these gifts that are given to us, we share with other people. You've been given the gift of energy. You've been given the gift to reach out to your people. You've been given the gift to have clients. Now, are you going to use that gift? Are you going to actually call them and pour your energy into them? Because everybody out there, quite frankly, needs an energy fix. And I don't know about you, after being on Zoom calls all day long, people are calling me saying, Dianna, oh my gosh, I'm low on energy. I mean, I've been on Zoom calls all day, and I go, well, that's because the people on the other end sometime are what you call energy vampires, and they're just going to like suck the energy out of you. You can't suck energy out of somebody that doesn't allow it. And here's what's happening. When you're making calls and people are kind of sucking the energy out of you, well, let me just tell you something. The energy's all around. I told you that the world is full of energetic strings all over. You can gather it up, bring it into you. See, if I gave you my energy right now, which I trust I am, I'm giving you the energy that I can.
Amazing energy, by the way, Dianna. Amazing energy. Thank you. As always.
You can take it though, but if I only give you, Michael, my energy, you're going to get a thimble of energy, and I'm going to have a thimble less, and you're going to have a thimble more. I'm not giving you my energy. I'm giving you God's energy. I mean, the energy of the universe, the source, God, Buddha, Muhammad, I don't care what you call it. It's energy. The whole world is made up of energy, as I told you before. Everything is energy. This bottle is made up of energy. Water is made up of energy. H2O, right? Chemicals. Chemicals give us energy. Don't have enough water, you'll get dehydrated and get sick. Don't have enough food, you don't have energy to even move, right? Energy. So when I gather up all this energy and I bring it to me, then I'm not giving it to you. I'm allowing the energy to go through me, through my heart to you. I'm not talking to you from my head. I'm talking to you from my heart. And that's the energy that you're getting. And see, that energy is what you feel. And I'm going to get off this call, and I'm going to have energy for the next call, which is at 4 o'clock my time, 5 yours. Where I'm going with this, people can't suck the energy out of you unless you give it to them. I was on stage once, and Michael, you may have remembered this from Bold Leader when I wrote that and took it around the world. And it was so much fun because there was a part in it where I literally, and I did this at one of the coaching skills camp, up on stage, I asked for a big, strong guy, right? And Michael, they came up. In fact, maybe you were the one that did this. I can't remember. And I put my hands down to my side, and I stood firm. Do you remember that?
I remember that, yeah. I was in the room.
Lift me up. And did they lift me up?
No, I recall.
Not when I put my energy in my feet. They could not lift me. Yet at first they could lift me. And when I said energy in my head, energy in my head, energy in my head, they lifted me up. And they lifted me higher than before. Yet you said it. When I said energy in my feet, and I pictured all of my energy in my feet going clear into the ground, that guy could not lift me up. In fact, John in Atlanta, who's a weightlifter, literally broke my veins right here in my hand. He was lifting so hard.
I almost forgot the first part of that because I was so blown away on the second part, how he couldn't lift you up. So that was an amazing visual.
So see, you control your energy. That's what I'm getting at. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred or transformed. So what kind of energy are you transferring? What kind of energy are you transferring? And when you stay in that and connected to that God energy, that universal energy, and you bring it even into your body and down through your crown and out of your heart, just talk from your heart. It's amazing the energy that people will feel. It's a time right now to restart. Actually, no, it's a time to reset, restart, refresh, and reinvent. Let me see if I can say that again. Reset, restart, refresh, and reinvent. See, many of you are going to have ideas that are going to be genius from this impact. Some of you, you are genius in your own right, and you're not allowing it to come out. You're not allowing yourself to be all that you can be. Only you can limit your life. Only you can. And as we go through this thing, just know that fear is crippling, and fear can shut down your immune system. So keep your energy up. And if you need to, call somebody. Set the direction for the life that you choose, right? Because see, there's maybe 7 laws of success, and there's 5 personal powers, right? 5 magnetic energies, 4 steps, and 3 assistants, 2 obstacles, yet there's only 1 path. And that path is you, and you're a work in progress, so allow it to be that way. I'm going to leave you with an affirmation, and then you can ask some questions, because I wanted to leave time for a couple of things. What I've been ending every call with is, I can, I will, watch me. Because see, there's so many people out there in the world that are telling you can't do it. So just say, I can do it. Some people are saying, oh, you won't do it. Oh, yes, I will. Watch me. And you say it like you mean it every morning. I can, I will, watch me, right? I can do any doggone thing I put my mind to do. And that's what we want.
Awesome.
You're playing the match game every day with your energy. You know how you did with the cards? You put cards down and you turn it over, and if one was a queen and one was a king, and you turn them back over, and then next time you turned up a queen, you were hoping that you could remember where that queen was, and the one with the most cards won. What? That's the game you're playing every day, the match game. And you're making a bet. You're making a bet every single time you get up and you play that match game. Now, what is a bet? It's your beliefs, your emotion, and your thoughts will equal your success. And I bet on you. My belief is that you're greater than you think you are. My belief is that I take a stand for your greatness more than you stand for your limitations. And my emotion is that doggone, I'll do whatever it takes to help people. My thoughts are those of greatness and how you're all winners. And I know that you can be a success when you put your mind to it, right? So I trust, Michael, that's a little bit of what you wanted. I love that you gave me time to really share some of my perspectives. And I know I did all the talking. And I did because of this theory in quantum physics called the uncertainty theory. And it reveals that we live in a state of unending possibilities, and that a small change in our energy can set forth a different result than we're experiencing in this present moment. And my belief is that today, right now, you've made an energy shift. I feel it. And I know that your energy right now, frankly, is higher than it was.
Without doubt.
I can see it on your face. I just...
And that's because of you, Dianna. That's because of what you brought to us. Again,
because of my...
Before, you knocked it out of the park. As far as, did you bring what I wanted to bring? You knocked it out of the park. I just keep watching the chat box, and you've affected, impacted, and encouraged a lot of people today. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you. I'll end with one. You know what? I don't know. Are we over on time?
I do have a question or two in the chat box. I do want to throw out to you real quick if we can.
Okay, yes.
I did get one question. When you were talking about shifting energy before, is there a book you could recommend on that shifting energy concept?
Well, mine came from quantum physics. So back in college, I kept a lot of my quantum physics books. So I would look up anything in quantum physics. Right? And because it talks about energy, and also in quantum physics, it talks about the phase entanglement. And the phase entanglement is simply put, when 2 particles come together, they take a portion of the other particle with them as they part ways. You know this, when you get on an airplane, they say we all breathe the same air, right? And you're taking parts of those people on that airplane away with you. Well, we all breathe the same air. So when your energy meets another person, when we talk, see, I'm taking part of you with me, and you're taking part of me with you. It's just called phase entanglement. So
one last question I have here for you, then feel free to share your final thoughts, because we are at the 75 minutes that you promised. I don't want to take more of your time than you've given, so thank you. Someone would ask, tell us a little bit about your daily routine and, you know, kind of how you stay so in tune with the energy that you're putting out there.
Well, those 10 questions, number one, actually helps me, right? Because by giving affirmations to ourselves, we actually raise our frequency. We raise our energy through those affirmations. And I want you to think of like, well, when we have a thought, that thought goes from one neuron and it's fired with electricity. And it travels along an axon to another neuron. Now that's the simplistic form. As it travels, though, that axon is 1/100th the size of one hair on our head. So it's very thin. So just to give you perspective, take a piece of dental floss, and that's your thought, right? Now I want you to picture a big thick rope, like a rope that is holding an anchor for one of those boats, or, you know, when they bring them into your harbors, right? That's how our mind goes. The more we say something, this is why words are so important. That's why don't say that social distancing, say physical distancing, right? When we put things into our heads with words, it's like that little piece of dental floss. Yeah, not a big deal. You say it again, it gets thicker. You say it again, it travels, it gets thicker. The same route it takes over and over and over and over again, where it becomes that big thick rope. That's why we get hardwired certain ways. That's why we think a certain way, and it's challenging to think another way. So when you put these affirmations into ourselves, and I have affirmations, you know, one of mine is what I believe about myself is what I will become. So I believe the very best of myself. Now you can tell that I've said that a few times over and over again, right? So we raise our frequency of energy when we put positive, great things into our mind. I mean, my routine is I get up in the morning. I'm going to read the good book, right? I'm going to read some from the Bible. It's the best sales book and the best leadership book you'll ever read. So many great stories and things to learn. So when I do that, then I like to exercise. Some days I get on the Peloton. Some days I do a 7-minute exercise. Some days I just walk down to the dock, which is over 100 steps, right? And then walk back up a couple of times. I've been on Zoom calls. Like I said, I've been spending 5-6 hours a day talking with friends, people, and church groups, and with John Maxwell, Patrick Lencioni on how leaders right now need to be more authentic and more vulnerable and more transparent than they've ever been before, right? So many people dismiss affirmations, thinking what they say about themselves that really doesn't matter. Yet science has proven that if you're not consciously engaged in positive thoughts, you are unconsciously engaged in negative ones. And to me, we have this thing called a GPS system. It's called our feelings. And the way that you are feeling is the way that you are thinking. If you don't have good feelings, then you got to do something about your thinking. Zig Ziglar used to say you need to check up from the neck up because you got stinking thinking, right? And affirmations are done with our conscious mind, yet they're doing the work in the unconscious mind. And in quantum physics, the consciousness creates reality. And that actually applies to our personal world as well. See, modern science explores many theories about consciousness and how it actually creates reality. And the mechanics of our mind reveal fascinating possibilities. Not just merely the capacity to work out complex problems, our mind actually can learn new information so quickly, and it can transcend that logic and actually move it into a realm of physical creation. And that's where, right now, more than ever, we have time to create new things. Just let your imagination go. Ask yourself really great questions. What kind of reality do you want to create? What kind of person do you want to become? What kind of person would you have to become to have that kind of reality? And then ask for those 10, I call them attraction quotient. You've heard of IQ, you've heard of EQ.
Sure.
Have you heard of AQ? AQ is your attraction quotient. The energy you give out is the energy you're going to receive. And when you read those 10 questions and you say, where am I today? And you start giving yourself those affirmations, and that's a long answer to a very short question. My routine is working on me every day. That's the only person I can change, is me. And by changing me, then I hopefully can change you too, right?
Well, you changed us all today for the better. Again, in a world where we have very low energy, you brought a lot of great value to us, and thank you so much for blessing us with your time, your feelings, your emotions, your love. Really, really, really appreciate that. So,
thank you. I have a question for you, Michael, because I like to ask for people's opinion. I told you to do it, so as a leader, I have to do it too.
Okay.
What I'd like to know, and if you can copy chat boxes and all that, I don't know, or if you could even give me, what did you like? I'd like to hear from you guys. What did you like about this call that I could pour into others, because it was for you, and I said things on this call I'll never even remember to say on another. And yet, what is it that you wish I would have said? I learned more from what you didn't like, right? What is it that you wish I would have said or covered a little bit more? And most people at this point want more doing.
Right.
I want you to remember, I can give you lots of scripts and dialogues. I can give you what to say. I can give you what to do. If you don't have the right energy, it's not going to work anyway. It's the being that really counts. How can you go into a home like my first listing appointment and say, yeah, and I can sell your home? I know, and I can sell your home. I know, I will sell your home. There won't be anybody that'll work harder or more professionally for you, because I can sell your home. That was my listing presentation. How did I get the listing? Energy. So you're even without my listing, are you? And I go, no, I'm not. So just sign the paper. And he goes, you are so new. Do you even know what to do? And I said, probably not, yet I'll find somebody that does. Right?
Yep.
I'll get your home sold because I can sell your house. Now that was awful. Yet I learned in that moment, it was my energy that gave it to me, right? See, so that's why I talk so much about being. That's why I talk about mindset. Oh, I got something for you. Make 3 circles and have them join in the middle. Do you know, let's see. Can I do
like this?
I don't know if, I mean, I've got a pen here. Yeah.
Like that, Diana?
Yeah, like this. Can you see that?
Yep, gotcha.
Okay. So in this top one, right, mindset. I shared this with some people today. Right, mindset. On this one, put method. And then on this one, put motivation. Now, it really doesn't matter if you put motivation here and method there, yet over everything is mindset. And right there in the middle is the linchpin, right? That's how you hold them all together. Well, here's what I want you to know on this. That linchpin, you need mindset, you need method, and you need motivation. And when you have all 3 of those, then that's when your life's going to change. And a lot of people, I'd love to talk to you about method, for heaven's sakes. Gary Keller, one of the best compliments he ever gave me was, you're one of the best salespeople I've ever met in my life. And I go, that's because I've studied sales. Are you studying your profession? Are you really studying your profession? Instinctively, you know that the people that have the best energy, the people that know how to handle things will always win. So grow during this time. Have growth, because after all, growth is the only guarantee that tomorrow is going to be better than today. Now, I want to hear some things, what you liked and what you didn't like. And I'm going to take if you don't have time, jump off the phone. I get it. I don't have another call here for a little bit. I'd like to hear that, Michael, if that's okay.
I will definitely have to cut us off at 3:30 because I know that's the time I had everyone a lot for this call, and I don't want to take more of their time than they're given. So I asked that question that you had there, and first of all, I am saving the chat box, so we will send you the text to the chat box with all of the great compliments. And I'm fishing for someone to give you constructive criticism, and they just keep giving me more ahas and more things they got from me today. And I think, Dianna, when you say, what could you have given more of today? If you didn't give it today, we've gotten it from you somewhere. We've gotten it from you either in Bold, or we've gotten it from you at Mega Camp or Family Reunion in the past. And you know, I know that from speaking to people, they love when you come on with scripts and strategies and things like that. But today, I think the message you conveyed was the message we needed, at least in our part of the country right now. I think if anything, you know, maybe, you know, what is that next action step moving forward? What's the one thing? So if I can ask you one thing you could deliver is, what's the one thing you would suggest to people on this call to do when we end this call in a few minutes? That first step of moving forward in a positive mindset with positive direction. That first step moving forward, what would that be?
The first step I would say right now is to write down all the things that you're good at. Because your confidence, if you're like most people, it's waned a little bit during this time. You've been shut in. One of the greatest things that we all need, you know it, we need relationships and we need community over everything else. And we've been stripped of our community as we knew it. Now we have the Zoom calls and I get to see all of your smiling faces and all of that. And that's a community. Yet we're being stripped from some of that physical contact with people that we so desperately need. So I want you to write down what your confidence and get that energy of confidence. Then say, I'm going to use this confidence. Now, some of you may have to go back and think of a time that you were really confident and bring that time to this time and get those same feelings. Pick up the phone and call your people. Literally keep in contact with them, asking them what you can do, thinking about the things that you don't like and how you can make those better. And I know that you will find the opportunity. I know people are saying, I don't want to call people right now about real estate. No, they need to hear, because we drive the economy. They need to hear that the economy is still working, the economy is still going, and that you're here to help them. Because see, here's one thing I know about your brain. Your brain cannot distinguish between a memory of an experience or one that is vividly imagined. Get that? So you vividly imagine everything that you want to have happen, and then go make it happen. Become that person. And you can change history just by changing your imagery in your mind. Awesome. So I hope that helps.
It did. I got one text from someone that said, you're probably the smartest person they've ever met. And the fact that you were able to share so much from, you know, quantum physics to emotions to a script for a realtor, the breadth of your experience and how you can impact us is not easily come by in this world. So you are very unique, and we're fortunate to have you. So thanks so much.
It's not me, it's my gifts. Thank you. God, see you. Bye,
awesome.
guys.
So long, guys. You know that typically we will share a funny video at the end in order to pick up your spirits. I don't think we need that today. Dianna did that for us all. Dianna, I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you so much for everything you did for us today. If I can ever return the favor, please let us know. Guys, we will get through this. We are a team. No great teams fail. And we've got people like Dianna. So when we're having that bad day, go back and revisit your notes from this call. And remember the things Dianna said, because with her behind us, we can accomplish anything. Thank you so much, Dianna.
Bye. See you. Bye-bye.
So long.